Welcome back, everyone. I've been enjoying reading your comments about experiences you've had with Souls-like games and seeing you interact with each other in the comments of other discussions as of recent. Our community is full of some heavily supportive, informative, and inclusive people, and I only plan to expand that further. This topic came to mind when I was reflecting on how appreciative I am for all the support over the years. In the course of the last handful of years that I've made content, there's been several lessons learned that have propelled us to where we are now. These lessons came from challenging myself with the runs that we post, but even more than that, taking a chance on this entire concept for the channel. In 2014, I had no clue that we would reach heights such as these, or even had the belief that it could go further. My mindset was gated by doubt, something that a lot of us suffer on a daily basis. I set my limitations for my own achievements and self-worth based on comparing myself to unrealistic standards and not realizing that I had the potential to do what I set my mind to. Content is a scary world. There's a lot of collaboration and supportive networks, for sure, but at the end of the day, you are still in a full-on free-for-all with all your fellow influencer friends. It takes thick skin to be able to survive in a live stream long-term and keep a good head on your shoulders. I don't believe this is something that I did the best at times. My attitude suffered from the consequences of my own limitations and arbitrary punishment. Basically, I was self-deprecating on a regular basis. The vocabulary ranged from things like, "I'm a complete idiot," or, "If I keep playing like this, nothing will happen." Well, the real irony is that less would have happened while having a poor attitude in terms of outcome and growth. That's exactly what happened. It's hard to notice these things over time for some since you can't be in the channel all the time or watching content every step of the way, but I genuinely grinded my way into a poor mindset, poor physical condition, and poor emotional control. This turned into 8 to 10 hour streams at times that would happen regularly, even no days off for weeks or months on end. I was going through quite a dark period without realizing how much potential was being left on the table, purely related to the mindset. Eventually, I started to take sporadic breaks due to sheer burnout of not just running the content, but also burnout from being a broadcaster and creator altogether. I feel there's no reason I should be streaming if I can't set a good example. Upon returning on multiple occasions, I would slip back into a similar bubble of negativity. The games were never the issue. The channel was barely a factor at all. It was all in the head. A false sense of what was important and what was not. Today, I wanted to outline how video games themselves, while not being real, can still affect you on a healthy or unhealthy level mentally. The downside of being your own worst enemy and in a constant competition with expectations that are unrealistic versus the upside of being able to forgive yourself and approach frustration with patience and reason. This simple ability transformed the outcomes of so many situations for the better. I think that these can be applied in many aspects of life, and that's what I'm hoping the takeaway is from this. No, I'm not a perfect person. And yes, you may still catch me being a little hard on myself, but now I'm so much more receptive and aware of when I'm taking a turn down a slippery slope. From the sheer amount of comments I get saying things like, "How do you not rage?" or "Why aren't you breaking your controller?" I think this video is a much needed overview of how powerful a mindset can be. It's not abnormal or inherently bad to be extremely dedicated to what you want to accomplish, but we must ask ourselves the cost at all times and reassess these values. Sometimes when performance is lacking, simply taking a break and getting some exercise or doing another activity, coming back refreshed makes a world of difference. So much so that I would argue that you can achieve a lot of things in less time with the same amount of information if your mindset is healthy versus being toxic and brute forcing your way through. Not only that, but you can walk away feeling better. The journey of self-wellness is never ending, and I'm always looking for an opportunity to learn from my past bad habits and creating new ones so that the content I provide for you is enjoyable but not at the cost of my own happiness. With that being said, I cannot be more excited for the future of the stream and especially the future of the YouTube channel, and I want to thank all of you for being along for this wild ride. At the end of the day, the real win isn't having a world record, beating someone in a 1v1, or being faster than everyone around you. It's simply the passion that brings us all together. Without that, the other amazing feats have no basis to have impact. As much as it wasn't the original message of the channel, making sure that I can relay these lessons I've learned to help others navigate smoothly will be something I aim to achieve whenever possible. In hindsight, I'm super glad to have made mistakes, because I wouldn't be as grounded without them. Learning to become comfortable in the midst of an upset or failure can be more powerful than having all the information you could have but poor mechanisms to control your emotions and reaction. If you want me to dive even deeper into this subject, let me know in the comments. Feel free to come by my live stream linked in the description if you want to ask me a question live. Maybe you will even see it turn into a video if I have enough to say about it. Make sure you hit the notification bell, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a like if this information was helpful to you, and take care.